If you look up the phrase having a moment in the dictionary, pretty sure there's a picture of Amy Schumer there right now. Trainwreck is the name of the film. Amy Schumer leads it as a woman dealing with change and transition in her life from going from guy to guy to, oh no, shudder, sticking with one man. It is brought to us by Judd Apatow, the king of the raunch-com, and this is no different. Very raunchy, and yes, right off the bat I will say, also very, very funny. Look, Amy Schumer is getting a lot of attention right now, and it is well-deserved. Her TV show is kind of all over my feed. This movie comes out. She's a funny gal, and her sense of humor has its own distinct voice, and is interesting enough that it sets her apart from a lot of what's going on in comedy right now in a way that she's kind of the hot new thing, and that's very, very cool. This movie capitalizes on that. Not only that, it makes us aware of another thing about Amy Schumer, which is she can act. The dramatic and heartfelt scenes in this are real, and I bought them, and her character is in many ways dealing with some really serious things, and I found that to be a surprise and a welcome one. In fact, I call it the best thing in the movie for me, is the message of this movie and how it deals with the difference between surface and depth, and why there's such value and power in commitment, in sticking with something, and not just letting stuff go. And the movie's theme is not just about romantic relationships, it's about family, it's about job, it's about all the different ways where we settle for surface when so much could be had with depth. And I thought that was really valuable and really interesting. My favorite thing about the movie, not to mention it's funny. Also, Bill Hader's really good. I love seeing him and stuff. He kind of plays a straight man here, but he has his own kind of deadpan delivery in a lot of these moments that I thought were really kind of genius. Now, I will say it's not a perfect movie. It was a little slow for me in parts. It didn't really have the editing wasn't as well paced as I necessarily thought it could have been. Plus, there were a lot of unnecessary cameos. Now, a lot has been made about the athletes that are in this movie. LeBron James specifically plays a larger role in this movie, and I see a lot of praise. I'm not one of them. I found it wooden and stilted and distracting because they're play acting. I never bought LeBron James as the character he was portraying on screen, or for that matter, John Cena or any of the other athletes that were in there. It was kind of like a wink and a nod to the audience of, we know these guys are acting. Well, that takes me out of the story. I just didn't like it. Now, some won't have a problem with that at all. I did, and it distracted me. But not just the athletes. Actually, the comedic cameos I thought were awful, too. There's a moment with Marv Albert and, what's his name? From Matthew Broderick. And I'm just going, what? I don't understand. What's going on here? Why is this supposed to be funny? And then there's all these SNL cameos that are just, there for a hot second and then gone and don't really inform the story in any way and just kind of distract to be like, oh, there's another face I know saying something that's supposed to be funny. That took me out of the movie in a really major way, actually, and I wish that had been set to the side to more focus on the actual storytelling of this film. That's probably coming from like a movie critic's eyes, and if you're just going to laugh and have a good time, it may not bother you at all, but I did want to mention it because it was the worst thing for me. Overall, Trainwreck is a movie that lots of laughs, really interesting comedic voice, that's only distracted by some of the stuff that takes me out of the story. Still, I like it enough to give it a B. Check out other reviews at the website, which, by the way, if you click the cards up here, by the way, we'll get to the best ever challenge here in a second, I should mention that. But if you click the cards up here, you can check out other reviews, where the website is, anything else you want to know about yourmoviefriend.com is there. Also some to donate if you'd like to do that. If you wouldn't mind following me on Periscope, I'm having a blast talking with you after the movies. As soon as I'm out of every movie I go to, I fire up Periscope and have a conversation with anybody that's around live about what I thought about the movie, and I'm loving that. So much fun. Aaron Dicer is who you would follow on Periscope and Twitter. I'll tweet whenever I go live on Periscope as well. And if you want more in-depth conversation about the movie reviews, we try to stay spoiler-free here, but if you want a little more spoilerish, go in depth, we do a podcast as well. It's called SiftPop, S-I-F-T-P-O-P, and you can subscribe to that on iTunes or whatever podcast player that you use. On to the best ever challenge. This takes place in the comments, and I love it. This is where you name the best movie ever in a particular category, and then, also try to identify my choice. You know what? I haven't really thought about best ever for this. I usually prepare that ahead of time. Let's go with best ever movie fronted by a female comedian. I think there are a lot of those out there kind of in the repertoire. Give me just a second to think of mine. Tell you what, I'll put the clue in the comments. I'll put the clue for mine in the comments, and you can leave your answer there as well, and we'll just do it that way this time. Thanks, and as always, I'll give you five extra seconds here to hit subscribe.